Are you catching any feedback from my computer?
All I'm catching is hot words from you dropping bars, Bobby Tamburro, who's now on the show. I started hitting record as you're trying to be a helpful man. So, no, now everything sounds wonderful. It's nice that you and I can talk without Frank. It's
Yeah.
nice to have that without me yelling at Frank in between. But first of all, you did shows all weekend, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I figured this might be why you brought me on.
It's not why.
I got to feature.
It's not
Oh,
why,
uh-oh.
sir. The reason why you were on is because, like last week, I was like, I don't really feel like talking to someone that's going to make me work. So last week I had Dan Brown on, and this week I have you because I just like chatting with
Perfect.
you guys. So I'm like, no, I want just nice and
Awesome.
easy. No, but I would bring that up first
I-
because you are my friend.
Yeah.
You're working hard at comedy, and you got to
Thank
open
you.
for Dave Landau, and that's exciting. So as your friend, I'm trying to learn how to be a human. Wanted to ask you about your accomplishments instead of talking about myself. I'm working on me, Bobby. All right, so God damn it, recognize what I'm
I
being
like the new
loving.
you, Pat. I like
Now
the new
fucking
you.
tell me about your day.
I got to open for Dave Landau. We had 2 sold-out shows at 50% capacity at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone. Honestly, they were both hot sets. They were
Nice.
both really. I
How
had
much time did
really
you do?
good sets. 25.
Ooh, how'd you feel?
Yeah, I felt good.
Not tired at all after the first one?
I mean, it was a Friday and a Saturday, so I was.
No, but I just
had a
meant
lot of
25
layover.
minutes for talk. That's not something you're used to. People who aren't comics don't get that. It's endurance. It really is a lot. It's a lot to remember. It's different pacing. Especially when you're working with someone that you know and respect. That's a
And
bigger
want
deal
to
because you
impress.
want to not only impress, the fans there know you as one thing and you want them to know you as another thing. You fall into you're just Bobby from from East Side Dave, or you're just Bobby the booth guy. You can't be funny. And you're like, no, I'm a comic too. And I want you guys to walk away saying I'm funny, like we did the secret show, and everyone's like, fuck, that guy's funny. Like, yeah, he's one. You and I are the only two who did real sets on that goddamn show. Everyone else is like, remember when I yelled this thing on a show that I said the N-word fun? Like, no, we're trying. And
Dude, you
yeah, so
nailed
that's
it.
a hard thing.
There's an extra pressure there because you can't just be funny. If you're just funny, it's one thing. Like you have to be funnier than the average comedian. Like you really want to set a bar. And I'm not saying I did that, but you want to come out and show you know what you're doing. Because like I've been doing comedy longer than I've been producing, obviously. So I've been a comic. You know, you've seen my stuff. We've worked together. So you want to show people, hey, I'm actually a comic, not just the guy who goes missing on In Hot Water.
Yeah, or just I'm a referee sometimes on on the Tits show, the Tits McGee show, whatever it's called. It's not called Tits McGee. I couldn't remember.
I'm the
Wet
guy who
spot.
almost got stabbed.
That could be anybody on that show, as long as you're white. But no, but that's a fun thing. Now, was there a host or was it a 2-man show?
It was a host. His name I am blanking on right now. Son of a bitch.
Fuck him.
But
You're terrible and you're forgettable.
No, he was cool. He was
Nope.
he was a good guy.
No, he wasn't. Obviously, if he was a good guy, you'd remember him.
That's a good point.
Terrible man.
Um,
Local guy?
yeah, local guy. It was cool. This is my local club,
Nice.
so like, I haven't been in there. I've won the contest they put on. Like, I work whenever Earl David Reed, the big local comedian, comes through, but they won't give me the time of day otherwise. So
I'm sure they will now.
Exactly. It was really cool for Dave to get me in there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm featuring," and one of my buddies I work with locally was like, you have to go to the open mic Thursday. It's like, I don't know if I want to go to the open mic Thursday. He's like, no, just go to the open mic Thursday. And I went, and there was a couple of guys I really like, and I got treated like royalty.
Nice.
I was like, you guys know I'm on your level, right? Like we are. There's no difference between us. But
yes, but Bobby, there is. And you have to do that now. There really is a difference now. You had to go a different route. And so a lot of what you do by showing up at the mic later is telling these young comics, yeah, show up here, but don't worry about kissing anybody's ass because these assholes are going to have their own thoughts in their head. The problem with a local club, and it happens to a lot of people, is that a local club looks at people and says, never lets them grow. They look at you and say, it's Bobby, the guy who came here. Remember that first time you came here and you could barely get out a word? They just look at you that way. And then guys will come in from a different state who aren't as good as you or put on working, but because someone sent a video or they saw them for the first time and they're a new fish in the water, they give them an opportunity. So you do need to go back, not for the club. Fuck the club. You got in that way. But seriously, fuck them. It's just one person's opinion. It's for the other comics to see there's more than one way to get in. Work hard, do other stuff, grow yourself, and then, yeah, come back and be like, fuck you.
or come back and be like, hey, I got weed. You guys want to smoke it?
You guys like this weed? I've got weed. And I just did 25 minutes in front of Dave goddamn Landau. You fuckers who book local shows should be closing me when a closing set for local shows is 30 minutes, and I've got weed. Do you remember the part where I have weed?
That's the key, right? That's what
And
makes
it's
the world
not
go round.
shitty weed. It's good weed that people on Compound Media smoke sometimes. Well, I don't know if they like weed. They like cocaine. That's a cocaine channel.
Plead the fifth.
Is the fifth cocaine a fifth of cocaine? That's how much they do. It's a fifth of it. Plead the fifth. They say it on In Hot Water every show.
No, man.
They say it. It's not me saying it. It's them. I've been sitting there on camera, and they're like, "We're doing cocaine with Larry Bia," which should be the name of his show. It shouldn't be whatever Louder and Prouder, whatever the fuck it's called. It should be called "Doing Cocaine with Larry Bia." People would watch that show. He does. That's what he would do. Larry comes out and goes, "Hello, everybody. I'm super loud, and today we're gonna build a house on cocaine." And he builds a house on cocaine. Like next week, now we're gonna work out and do calisthenics on cocaine. Like who wouldn't watch that show?
Oh, it's even better than that. All right, I'm tired of building this house. Let's bring a skateboarder on. Skateboard for us. All right, I'm tired of skateboarding. We got a rapper. Let's hear the rapper.
You know Tony Hawk? I know Tony Hawk. Next. That's it. The whole show. Now, Josie, show me your boobs. So like, all right.
She's like, no.
No. I'm still in Greece because of that restraining order. I mean, travel thing I'm doing. But no, but that had to be fun, and I'm sure that I've worked with Dave one time. I've listened to Dave's album. Dave's albums are great. Dave Landau is a tremendous guy. If a lot of people don't know and listen to this, he's one of those guys too. It's even at that level. If you know him as the other voice on Anthony Cumia's show, obviously he's not just some sidekick. They literally put his name in the title because he's that valuable and that good. There are many people who have just watched him on that show and don't know him as a stand-up and probably think he gets stand-up work because he's on that show, but don't realize as good as he is as a co-host, he's a way better comic than he is co-host. And I think he's one of the best co-hosts there goddamn is. But as a comic, when I first saw him live, I had him go to comics with me and do a Sunday, and I was hoping to get him in, but didn't. All this shit happened shortly after. But he went on a Sunday. I'm there all the time. The staff is just – most comedy club staffs are just used to comics. They walk around. They all stopped and fucking watched him. Like, people were in the middle, and then they were literally – everyone who listens to everybody was like, holy shit, this guy's killer. And he's just amazing storyteller. He's so likable on stage, and he goes up right away, and he's got the weird little looks. Everything you need to be a comic he's got, and then just comes through tenfold. But with you and him on the show, I hope the host was 6'4".
No, he was just like us, dude.
Nice.
It was a steady progression of
it's the Russian doll of hobbits. It's just a fucking nice pop-up. But that's good. And I'm sure Dave not only had nice things to say, but probably threw you, I wouldn't say critiques, but at least a little bit of advice here or there.
Yeah, he came up to me right before I finished my set and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna open with this line. Is that cool?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You can have it after we work together." And it's a brilliant tag on my shower joke.
Nice.
And it's just a great tag. Honestly, though, one of the coolest parts of the weekend was my dad came to the first show, and my dad's like sitting there, and I'm on stage, and I see him, and I think he's emailing the whole time, right? Because he's on his phone. And I'm like, all right, he's busy from work, but he wanted to come out and support. Like, I get it. Like, my dad's the type of guy, he does emails till he falls asleep. Like, he's that busy, and I get it. We get home, and this motherfucker secretly taped my whole set. So at midnight Friday night, we sat down like it was film school and football, and we just went through like you do, and we chopped it apart, me, my dad, and my mom. And they don't have the comedy background, but they're just super supportive. So it was like, my dad's like, all right, let's rewind that back and watch it again. All right, now you try it. I'm like, this isn't necessarily how we do this. My mom's got a debate background, so she's giving me good pointers from that field. Well, when your leg shakes, it shows that you're nervous. Yeah, no shit, Mom, because I was super fucking nervous.
Yeah, because you guys were there. What the fuck? It's like, but the awesome thing about that, the first time that your parents go from, oh, it's nice our son does. Because even if you have supportive parents, and I joke around, but my parents have been supportive. My dad at the beginning was a little questionable, but my mom has been supportive of me doing this since the moment I did it. Like, they're very proud of it. There's never been like, don't do it, whatever. But they have that doubt of that's my son. I'm proud, but there's no way he's good. And the second they go, oh, he's good, That's the coolest feeling, because then they start talking to you like, oh, how's your little jokes going? It becomes, hey, you know that bit you have about this. Remember when grandma did this? Add that. You're like, oh shit, you're ready to add dirt into like shit from the family. Like you want on board. Like my brother did that with me. He's been very supportive, but he messaged me one time and said, anytime I want to, and I'm going to do it soon, to do one of these episodes, he's like, why don't we do a Pat Oates origin story? I'll talk about everything I saw from your childhood, watching you going, that's why he's a comic. And he goes, awesome. Some of it will be like crazy and cringy, but it will still be cool. And I'm like, dude, I'm on board. And he never wanted, and I've told you, he's such a big fan of Kumi and all that. He wants to do that kind of thing. And I'm like, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. That'd be my
favorite
favorite
episode.
Speaking
of you being loved, not only do you get Landau, so E-Rock I hit E-Rock up last week and said, hey, you want to come back and do this podcast again? Because he comes on once in a while. We talk about TV shows. He hits me back up and goes, would love to again. I'm a little busy, probably in the next week or two, but I want to do the show with you and Rob. I want to do that show. And he's asked me before, how are you doing on the show we're doing? I'm like, he's been doing great. I go, he's a hilarious guy. It's great chemistry with me, him, and Frank, and it really works well. And he's like, he's been checking in. So I'm happy he's going to come on. Now, I don't know how E-Rock's going to do on POS. I don't really
crush it.
I think he'll crush it. And I got to make sure, part of me's like, I should do nothing but compound topics and just be a dick and watch it be quiet. No, I'm kidding. Watch your face. Just to
watch 2 video feeds just drop off. Boop, boop. Yep. All right, Frank, I guess it's me and you.
And then Frank dies, I'm alone. I'm just alone.
And then we just call you Red Bar because you're just talking about compound.
That's it. You're talking about compound. I'm just Red Bar, and or I'm Stuttering John, or anything else you need to be on there.
Chad Zumach.
I'm going to say this out loud, and I know people say, "What? I like Chad Zumach. I like him as a person. I know he doesn't like a lot of people, but I like the fact that guy gives less than 0 fuck. I mean, the amount of fucks Chad Zumach, because think about it. At any point, he could just let it go with people and then be accepted because he has enough connections. There is a likability about Chad that opens a door that he goes, oh, you're going to open the door? Well, let me shit on your welcome mat. And that's what I like about Chad Zumach. He's just like, fuck off. But the couple times I've spoken with him and had him on my podcast and all that, he's been cool to me. He doesn't pull any punches. He is who he is. He calls people out on their shit. And a lot of people are doing that. Chrissy Merrick's calling the world out on their shit. And yeah, they battle each other, but it's all cool for her to do it. Yes, he does it in a more gruff way, and people have been trained to hate him. It's been kind of the running joke, like if he's on a show, fuck him. But think about it, he takes that beating and keeps going.
Yeah. And I like Chad when he goes after bigger people.
Like but that's easy.
No, that's what
it's really cool when Chad goes after people who can't defend themselves. People who have no reason to be shit on. Just people for no fucking reason. Now, listen, I know that, Chad in his world with Brennan, they don't get along with the compound, but I'm not in either world. I would love to be. And if they made me choose a side, I would do it for money and shit on the other one all day. Because I like Chad because I'm Chad. I like to talk shit. I like to stir things up. But I also do it to their faces. And he does that too sometimes, but I'll do it and go, oh, come on the show. I'll talk shit then. But I don't know.
I will say that, yeah. It does seem like anytime he has a beef, he invites the person he's having a beef to sit down on the podcast with him. So I've never met Chad, so I can't really comment on it. I just feel like I've seen him pop up a couple of times going after, friends, and that's when.
You know what? I'll have him on because he wants to. I'll have him on POS, and we'll have him on. He'll be great on that. Right. He's the one who hit me up and said, hey, do you know Earl Skakel? And I'm like, no, not personally, but I would like to meet him. He goes, let's do a podcast. And the 3 of us together. That was the first time I podcasted with Chad, besides being on a Ski Mask podcast where we were on one time, like 27 of us were on the podcast there. But it was fun, and I got to meet him that way, and he hit me up. He got Earl on. Earl's fantastic. Another guy that's real funny I wouldn't got to meet. So Chad hooked that up for me for no reason and said, we'll just both put this episode out. So I don't. Yeah. I get wanting to get attention. I think some people are going too far right now. Like yesterday, I don't want to talk any. I promise you on POS, there'll be no talk about Hunter Biden's penis. I promise you. Because I don't care about Hunter Biden's penis. I don't care about Hunter Biden. I don't care about any of it. My Twitter feed is so full of it. It's insane. But all these people that need attention so bad, they're all talking about that. And then if you I made a joke. I said 95% of you, if Hunter
dude,
Biden
I love that
penis,
joke.
Yeah, I didn't have a penis, whatever. You would have nothing to say. And even Chrissy said something like, "I think I'm being a victim here," and I put a gift that said, "I bet you think this song is about you. You're so vain." And I know she's joking, but I'm not shitting on her, but she is one of the people that when a new thing comes out, because she needs to keep getting that attention on her. New thing comes out, let's put that out there. And her and her boyfriend are like sleuths, and they're like, "We've learned about Hunter Biden's left testicle. It's this." It's like, I don't care about his dick. I just go back to just being funny, everybody. You know what I mean? I know we got to do it, but like, I won't tweet about that shit. I don't tweet about politics. Let's just have fun.
I'll tell you, I bought my Vote Kanye hat today.
Nice. What
I
color
heard him.
is it?
He's the most sane one out of the bunch. He's like, that's where we're at as a country, that Kanye West is the most sane presidential candidate we have.
And wouldn't it be hilarious that Melania, by the way, hands down the hottest first woman ever, gets beat right away?
Right away.
Kim Kardashian
Boom.
jumps in, and all of a sudden she's just gross. She's just Barbara Bush Jr. It's like, get out of here, you gross. Oh yeah, because Kim Kardashian would blow her out of the water. Imagine if like all the Kardashians were. This show would come back if they could be in the White House.
Oh, my
You
God,
know
yeah.
what? I know they were canceling it, but if they could be the Kardashians
Oh,
in
my
the White
God,
House,
yeah.
I'd watch. I'd finally watch.
It'd be the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, they're just Ray J's back for no reason. He's just there selling headphones on the corner of the White House.
I just
that'd
hope
be
it starts
great.
a trend of hot first women. Like a kid's walking through the Hall of Presidents. It's like, damn,
Yeah.
2016 and on was just fire.
But that would, and then imagine if Kanye died, because you know who the vice president's going to be, Caitlyn. Why wouldn't he make it Caitlyn? That you want to get all the votes? You make it man lady? Oh my God, you got a black rapper and a man lady, and then all of a sudden Caitlyn Jenner is in charge of the country.
I'd be
I'm in.
honestly, I'd be happier if it was the other one, the mom. I feel like she's already crafted one empire. Let's take
Well, she would
America to the next
obviously
level,
run it.
baby.
She would run it, but who would vote for her?
No, I get it.
Need
I
the
get it.
trophy thing.
So we need to get her a couple of pigs down and then just knock some people off along the way. I see what you're saying.
I also like
couple
the
of
joke you made about one peg down, because that's what Caitlyn Jenner is now. Does she ever think still? I don't know.
I don't know, dude. I got into a whole discussion about that with my mom because the people in like the health rep and or the whoever the Fauci of Pennsylvania was a man and is now a woman. And I don't know if she did the full process, but if she didn't, I feel like, you know what I mean? Do you lose some of the credit if you don't go the full way through with it?
Imagine if you were if time travel was real, but they figured it out like in the 50s or 60s or something, and you traveled forward to 2020. And yeah, COVID would be scary, but weirder would be, what are people doing to each other? They're just feeling like they're ladies, and then they're being ladies. Like, what? They realize this is irreversible and weird, right? I'm going back to the part where we hate blacks, and they just fly back.
It makes more sense. Trust me.
It was rude, but it was simpler. It was it was very rude. And
I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I think be whoever you are. I don't really care. Like, I wanted to be a comedian. There are a lot of people who think that's pretty dumb. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being that and just being who you are. It's when you start telling other people to be who you are that start, like, I wouldn't go out and be like, hey, man, you're in school. You're a pretty good student. You know what you should do? Flunk out of college and go into comedy. Like, that was my path. I don't think that's everybody's path. So just
right, but
stay in your lane.
If they did do that, and then they decided it wasn't for them, they could at any time not be a comedian. Once you choose to be a lady, you can't just go back to being a dude because you cut your penis off. There is a difference in the choice you're making. Any other choice, be who you want to be, but keep your cock. That's all I'm saying. Keep your cock. Tuck it. They've got tuck. You ever watch Silence of the Lambs? You just tuck it in. You say, I'd fuck me, and you're a lady. That's all you do. You don't cut off parts, and don't make kids cut off parts. Like, I heard I was at Big Lots, and there was a father and son, and the son was looking at little dolls. And I was waiting for, I don't know why, I'm older, so I was waiting for the father to be like, stop looking at that. And instead he goes, you already have that doll. You need another one. Little girls like that. So I looked again at the boy, and I'm like, that's definitely a boy. And the boy said, yeah, I'm a girl. And I was like, oh, shit. This is kind of like when I was a kid. My dad's like, "You're gonna be good at football," and it's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be good at football." Parents are now raising their kids to be ladies when they're men instead of being football players. It's the new like, "I'm a proud dad of a transgendered thing." Let the kid find out first if they want to be that thing. Don't make it a trend, is what I'm saying. They grow up, and you're right, and I'm joking around, but if you grow up and we only live one life, and if you decide that your life, you are miserable as what you are, and you can make a change to do it, and if that makes your head better, and that makes you not fucking go nuts every night and hate yourself, then yeah, do it. But really, really think about it, because it is something that can damage you. And if you, like you said, if you force it upon someone else, you could damage them forever when they didn't even get a chance to make a choice for themselves.
Yeah, and like, don't push anything on your kids. They'll find their path on their own. Like, my parents were very good with that. I had dolls when I was like 4 or 5, and then I grew out of it. Like, it was just a stage. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I liked them for a month and then didn't like them because they had cool commercials on TV. But that's not when you should start being like, oh, you're a girl now.
Right. Take that,
Heck,
Jews. Stop making your kids be lawyers and doctors, Jews. Let your kids do what they want, Jews. That's what Bobby's saying, Jews.
can you imagine if this hairline and beard was a woman? Because I like dolls at 4. I feel like I'd be a lot miserable now. I do have a nice rack,
I'm
but
looking.
the
I'm,
rest of it
I'm
would be a
still
lot
trying to
of
imagine, Bobby. Let me imagine. Nice. Yeah. Hot carny bearded lady. You look like a bearded lady.
Thank
First
you.
of all, I think if you were a lady, you would get some. You would get some changes. I think. You would get a wig, so you wouldn't have the hairline, right? You would get a.
Yeah,
What would
yeah,
be your
probably.
first move besides the operation? You're gonna be a lady. What kind of lady would you be, Bobby? Like, if you're gonna, would you be a blonde, a brunette? Would you keep your hair color now? What would you do hair wise?
I think I'm stuck with my hair now. I have 2 different colored eyes, like a dark brown and a light brown.
Okay.
So it's really hard to match that with anything other than kind of like dark brown hair. So we'll
Yeah.
stick with that color hair. First thing I'm gonna do though, I need a new nose.
Oh,
I
so
need
you're
a
gonna get
whole new
plastic
face.
surgery?
Yeah, lots of plastic surgery.
What kind of nose? Like a black person's nose?
No, I'm just like,
Oh.
like big, broken multiple times. We just need to straighten that bad boy out, make it nice and tight. Probably a Kardashian-esque nose.
But here's the
While you're
thing.
in there, give me some lips.
You're not thinking like a lady, Bobby. You don't need to do anything with your nose or whatever because your eyes. You have 2 different eyes, like you said. So men, what do they like to do? Find one thing and then make a fake fact about it. Like, you know what they say about women with 2 eyes? They got 2 hearts or some shit. You want to fuck? Like, that's what they would do. So, like, all you need is a 2 different color. Like, as a man, nobody cares. As a woman, it would be the thing people talk to you about forever. It means you have 2 souls. You're so much better. There's 2 windows into both your souls. Beautiful. And you can still be Bobby and just change the Y to an I. I mean, you're already right there. I can be Patty. You can be Bobby.
Yeah.
I would be a ginger. I would definitely go long, red, flowing hair. I would actually take the hair off my beard and put it on my head. That's what I
There you
would go
go.
with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want big tits. I don't want to deal with back problems. I would just take nice little perky athletic tits. I also want a decent ass, but nothing big, you know. But I definitely would dress. I would always wear dresses. I would never be pantsuits. I would be a sunflower dress, respectable church mom.
I'd be a short skirt and
You'd be a slut.
if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna commit to it. Yeah, dude. No, I'm not gonna be a slut because I'm gonna be the biggest cock tease ever. Because at the end of the day, I'm still
Oh,
me. So I'm gonna get to the point right before we fucking. I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can do this.
oh, so you'd bail.
I'd be the biggest blue balls ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to fuck a guy. That would be the whole problem.
Yeah.
The whole problem would be the part where it's like, oh wait, now a guy's gotta fuck me. I could be a lady to be a lesbian, I guess.
Ooh, now we're talking.
You could be a lady because
Just
you're like,
be like a guy lesbian though, the one that's like sitting at the club and sees the girl with the broken heart, like, hey man, girl, men are horrible, aren't they? Come on here, let me make you feel better. That would
oh,
be the
like
type of lesbian I
Ellen
would be. Yeah.
getting you some Porsche. Yeah. It's the hottest car and the hottest bitch. She went out and got a Porsche, which is great. And now she like ruined her life or whatever and destroyed her and was
Do you
mean.
guys have a big opium problem in your area?
In my town, personally, no, because it's mostly minorities, so opiums are expensive. But in Connecticut, yeah, there's a bunch of towns with opium problems.
So we have them here, and that's the big thing in these recovery groups is all these like predatory lesbians who convince these young girls who are just trying to get straight that it's the toxic men in their lives that led them to do that, and then they date for about 4 months, and then things go south, and 50% of the time the girl relapses and ODs because you're not supposed to do that. It's just real problem. I mean, it's not just lesbians; it's guys do it too. Like,
I don't know if it's really a problem. It's yeah. I mean, like they got four. Name the last time you had a good 4-month relationship. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, let them have what they have. 4 months is like 1 week. Yeah, that's rude. But 4 months, that's a torrid romance.
fair enough. I'll give you that. 4 months is kind of a romance.
And to go lesbo, like you were a drug addict and you switched what you like in sex, and you know what? You need a lot of recovery. You have a if you do all that, you've got a good book coming out. You know what I mean? That's all. You got a Lifetime movie. You did it. You did more than most people.
Good point. Good point.
You did opiates. You didn't die. You had crazy lesbian sex. You didn't die. And now you're back. And now you're like, you work for some censor board and you tell people how their words are wrong. You know, you just flip it right away. Like, fuck you. Like, you should never do drugs. You did all the drugs. Yeah, I did the drugs so you wouldn't. It's like, what the fuck is that about? Where's my fun drugs? Are drugs even fun anymore? Not
Yeah.
that I ever had fun. The only time I had fun was weed. I mean, I didn't do other drugs really. I mean, I did hallucinate a little, a couple hallucinogenics and stuff. I said I hallucinated. That doesn't sound like you do. I just one time had this crazy vision. No, I mean, I did acid like twice, and I did mushrooms twice in my life, and I smoked weed a lot. I had fun on weed, but it sounds like now all drugs are just like a lot of work. You have to know names and strands. Some dude just gave me a bag.
Yeah, I mean, that's still pretty much how I operate. I mean, I'm kind of like you. I just do weed. I don't do a lot of other stuff, but
You ever trip?
once or twice. Not fun.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you and I aren't the happiest people. So, like, inside your head's not a good time. When you let out the loose, crazy
Yeah.
dragons, it's not going to be a good time.
I spend a lot of time burying those things down. Like a lot of people say, oh, if you do hallucinogens, you battle your inner demons and you get healthier. I spend a lot of the time locking those demons in cellars, and we just don't ever talk to them. Don't want to let those bad boys out.
Yeah, your problems are kind of like remember those girls in Ohio that were in that basement? It's like
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
want the acid's the black guy who comes by and goes, "You okay?" It's like they're
no,
like, "We're not
no.
okay," and they come flying out. It's like
Yeah, exactly. So
nothing good comes out of Ohio. You know what I mean? LeBron James, Chad Zumach, boom. See,
you beat me to it. You beat me to it.
for you people that were like, "I can't believe you defended Chad." I threw a fake joke in to make you feel better because I know how to play my audience. Fucks.
I mean, like I said, looking forward to doing the podcast with him. It'll be interesting to meet him.
I had somebody comment on that post I put up about, the Hunter stuff and everything. Someone's like, so are you yelling at your fans? And I'm like, okay, first of all, fuck off. Like, if you're a fan of mine and you don't know that I will just yell at everyone,
Yeah,
then
that's who I am.
Yeah, it's the reason why you liked me. But I'm yelling at my fan if your entire day was spent with one thought and it was Hunter Biden's cock. Now, if you thought about other things and Hunter Biden's cock, then I'm fine. Some guy said that, he goes, I did other stuff today. I'm like, yeah, you're a 5%er, dude. Like, you're
good.
You're fine. First of all, if you think this is about you, it's probably about you. And also, if you think I'm just reading your thing, I would have said, hey, at whoever, stop it. I'm tired of you. So many people had the same stupid thought as you. It was so unoriginal, I couldn't handle it, and I didn't even care. And I haven't even looked into it. I don't know anything about Hunter Biden. Nothing. Because every time people talk about it, I go, I don't care. I don't care. I didn't care about Bill Clinton's weird brother. I don't care about anyone else's brothers in life. I don't care about Trump. I don't care about any of that. Do the political shit. I just don't even care anymore. It's just so much. So what?
And if you don't know who you're voting for by now, you should not be allowed to vote.
Yeah.
Like, you are too stupid. And I'm not saying that that's because there's one like that. I'm just saying, if you don't know by now which guy, like, you're backing or not voting or whatever, you shouldn't be allowed to vote.
And if you aren't sure, there are people right now that are like, they're both terrible, but which one is the lesser of the two evil? Which one makes my life better? If you think that, if you're on one of those people that actually thinks that affects you, some middle of the road fuck, it doesn't really affect us at all. But if you do think that, and you don't know yet, get off Twitter. Get off Twitter.
Kanye West.
Go find if you're also not crazy and you want to go one of the other two. If you actually want to vote for someone that might win, go find out real information. Get off Twitter, get off social media, stop listening to people. If what determines it is if the president's son showed his piece in a picture, if you vote or not vote, then you shouldn't be allowed to vote. Who cares? The Trump family's done crazy shit. The Biden family's done crazy shit. If you are at that level, if you are being tossed around as the leader of the free world, you've done fucked up things. Your family's fucked up. You're a narcissist and you're crazy. If you think you should run the free world, no matter what side you're on. I like when one side attacks the other. This person's fucking delusional. They're both delusional. They both think they should be the best person ever. That's delusion.
Yeah. And like, if this was your other podcast, they'd both be pieces of shit. Like, you know what I mean?
They be? Would they be? Because they're all both pieces of shit so often that the POS would be everyone else for even allowing the pretending they support them.
Or thinking they weren't going to be the piece of shit. That is a good point. At a certain point, it's not the horse that kicks you. It's you for thinking the horse isn't going to kick you.
Like, thank God that Anthony Cumia's favorite term to use on Twitter is POS, because every time he writes that about like a black person or Trump, or not Trump, he loves Trump, about Biden or a black person, like, whenever he does that, he writes POS. And I used to make jokes underneath and go, speaking of POS, and I would put my logo up, whatever. And I think he muted me at one point, but whatever. It was just
probably.
And people would like it, whatever. Recently, other people are doing that now. He said a thing about AOC, it's a POS, and he goes, how dare you compare her to the great Pat Oates, the whole thing. And I plugged my show under it, whatever.
That's awesome.
But that's the thing, like, everyone knows them as POSs so much they wouldn't be. It would, and I don't mean it in disrespect to Anthony Cumia, it'd be people like Cumia or people that, like who's somebody that backs, like Chelsea Handler that backs Biden, people that are high profile people that are making other people think their guy is a better person than the other guy. They're both terrible, despicable people. It's just what party you believe in, they'll do your thing. But if you think they're good folk, they had to scratch and climb and claw and murder and kill and all other stuff to get to where they are. You know what I mean? That's how if you want to be the best, you have to be an asshole. So when they get to the top, it's always like, oh, they're a bad guy, or their son's dick does crack. Of course his son's dick does crack. He had to climb through life. He'd be ignored by his dad forever. So over 40 years, he could be a public figure. They're all terrible. Corn Pop was a bad dude. If you know Corn Pop, if you know Trump was in wrestling. They're not good people. They're
it's like of shit. South Park did the shit sandwich versus giant douche, but it's kind of like, how do you want to get prison raped? One party's going to fuck you in the ass, the other one's going to fuck you in the mouth. Right. And that's what we're fighting over. Half the country goes, I'd prefer to be fucked in the ass, and the other half,
you know what? I was gonna say that
fuck
too.
me in the mouth, and we're fighting over it. And at the end of the day, you're like, this is the hill we're dying on.
Which one do you take?
Me?
I go ass. Really?
Oh no, good point. Ass.
Just because I can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
I'd rather feel pain. I mean, you know what? I think that's wrong of me. I'm just assuming they're going to bend me over. If they spread eagle style and stare at me, missionary, stare at my eyes.
That's the worst.
That's the worst. That would be terrible. But what would be the worst if you vote for one or the other, and then they both come together as a team and they spit roast you, and you're like, God damn it, I got spit roasted by.
And that's what we call the other 3 years of the election cycle.
That's what we call Kanye. That's a Kanye is spit roast. You get a little bit of both. He can't. No one's gonna vote for him.
Kanye's like, voting for Kanye is like just overdosing on heroin in prison. Like, it's gonna be a good time until it ends. Like,
right.
It's gonna be a fun party until that last second.
But, I mean, realistically, no independent is going to win. You're going to have two parties that are so angry and upset at each other that all are trying to prove a point that it's going to be two people voting for that. You're going to think it's a waste of vote. You're almost better off not voting. I think no one should vote. And I've been saying this. I think everyone should get together and say no one votes. And it's 0-0. And then they go, what? What do we do now? And then China comes in and goes, yep, we're in charge now. I'm like, good, thanks. We need this. And you say, no, but we do. You guys are doing a better job.
They are not.
I don't know. They're over. They're back to work.
Yeah, because they released a super virus that took the rest of us out. They had the solution.
We used to be the ones that killed the people. Why aren't we the ones that killed the people anymore?
That's what Kanye's trying to do. He's trying to think of the next way to kill people. He wants to be 3 steps ahead, Pat.
Yeah, but he's gonna do it by spitting mad bars. That's not gonna kill people.
You're telling me if there was a beef with Kim Jong-il and Kanye dropped a diss track with like him, Drake, Meek Mill, Pusha T, all came out.
I'm not having Drake on my track to kill
Good
the guy
point.
who
Good
runs
point.
California.
Good point.
No,
Good point. He
we're
is a
not doing
Canadian.
it.
He's a foreign interference. Good point. We don't want him on our track. And Kanye would think of stuff like that.
Kanye would have the best council of people together, but I don't think Kanye would do it because then he'd be like, I'll just send Rodman again. It's just like I don't need Rodman. I don't see anybody voting. I think like 10% of the people are voting for what the actual real voting is for. Like, I believe in this thing. I think it's become like a weird popularity contest about, like when you were in school and you look back, it's besides the part where they were children, but like you look back at school when you were growing up and they weren't children, they were your age, and you think about who was hot. And then you move to college and you're like, oh, none of them were hot. They were just hot for the people I knew. That's what the
Yeah.
two like candidates are. Neither one is good or pop. We're voting for like the most popular of the two least popular guys. It's like no one likes you, but who's the more liked of the two shitheads?
That's exactly what it is.
It's like I'm voting for Jar Jar Binks or an Ewok. Like there are two things no one in Star Wars really likes. Not that I'm a Star Wars guy, but some dork out there was just happy I did that. I don't know. And like they're probably gonna be like, "What do you mean the Ewoks were loved?" I don't fucking know. Not Wicket, the other ones. The one that looked like Wilford Brimley, but he was a fucking. You don't talk about the old one that looked like Wilford Brimley, but he was a fucking furry monster. We both did the same. Is that the thing that you do?
I don't know.
That what an Ewok does? I don't know. But yeah, it's like voting for those two things. It's like, do you really care what it is? It's weird. It's pointless. And then the world's going to be real weird at the end of November because they're going to be over whoever won and then like just stuck. I think if anything, we're actually in a better place because I think right now, if today I had to vote, today I'd vote for Biden. 2 weeks ago, I would have voted for Trump. But I think today I'm like, I'm just tired of what's happening. So like I'm like right now I'm poor and I can barely afford to live my apartment. But I know I can't afford to pay another down payment somewhere else. So I'm going to stay in the place.
Studio.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
You got that beautiful studio you're recording from.
on a $1 green tablecloth cover. That's my green screen I got from a dollar store. I'm in my living room. I'm staring at my couch right now at a desk that it looks like you're gonna come do a stuff film and I'm the receptionist. It's a nice studio, but yeah, and you just destroyed my dream.
Sorry about that.
No, that's I'm like, where the fuck was I? I was in the studio. Oh, so I can't afford an apartment. So, but I have to stay here, even though I don't want to stay here, because I can't afford to go somewhere else. So, but if I could, I would. If I somehow got enough money just to put down down payment somewhere else, I would change just for the sake of change. And I think that's what we need. But then again, when that does happen, then we could be stuck in 8 years of the other side taking over and saying I think everyone's just going to hold everyone hostage for as long as they can for a while. So like, do we just let this phase out and let the Trump thing happen for 4 more years? I know people joke and say he's going to stay forever, but he can't stay forever. There's rules and shit. He's going to go. And then you start new because it wouldn't be Biden again and it won't be Trump. So do you just start fresh or do you keep going this way? Because Biden, we all joke's going to die, but the guy's been living this long. I mean, I know Frank's old. He could live for 8 years and be fine and be president and whatever. I think we've run its course with this. These 4 years have felt like Trump's been president for 50 years. It's not even about what he does or what they do. I just need a change.
I don't know. I don't know. I agree. Like, we just need a holistic change. I mean, I'm a political science major. I won't bore you with the details, but the electoral college.
Whoa, bore me away. Wait, you finally have smart stuff to say and you're not going to do it?
No, basically what you're talking about is a law. As long as there's two parties and we have a winner-take-all electoral college, there's only going to be two parties. They're always going to be butting heads, and nothing's ever going to get done. As soon as you get rid of that, like, every vote counts more. Your vote counts to the general election, right? You can vote for whoever you want, and then we take a percentage. So percentage goes to the House. You get 33% of the vote as the Libertarian Party. You get a third of the seats in the House, and whoever has the majority of the votes gets to pick a president. Then we don't dox people. Like, we're not interrogating people. It's not the American public choosing. It's that party chooses their individual. And let's be honest, they do that anyway. How many times have they fucked Bernie? I mean, sorry. How many times have they fucked Bernie? Like, the Democrats are doing it in Trump beat the Republicans at the game, but the Republicans do it too. It's not like it's a one-sided thing. We just have evidence the Democrats did it. So you get rid of that, you get rid of the hatred, and then all of a sudden you have multiple parties that have to work together, that have to talk to each other, that have to get each other's support on a daily basis for various bills, because you're not always going to be teaming up with the same party. So there's going to be less hatred. Like if next week I have to get your support, I'm not going to call you a Nazi this week. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a lot more friendly business here. And
You
I think,
thought so, but then with the Democrats, I mean, like Biden and Kamala were fighting.
yeah, but I'm saying like if you
No, I'm
get rid
saying
of all
that was
that
even
and the
funny that
party's
they were
choosing, yeah, it's not about individuals anymore. It's about choosing the ideas.
Right.
Your ideas actually get represented. Pat, does either party represent what you think?
no,
No, right?
no.
Like
I think Nazis. No, It's like-
yeah, and you want the right to be able to, but you
Yeah.
also like you're poor, so
listen, yeah.
50-50, you know what
So
I
I
mean?
need
Like,
the Jews because they have better budgeting skills, but at the same time, I also need New York to be less Jewy. So I don't know what I want. No,
yeah.
first of
So
all,
you get more parties crafted to you. Like there
both
could be
both of them have ideas that work and ideas that don't. When I grew up, I was in the weird belief that, and I was younger, whatever, that they, even though there was two different parties, they worked together to put ideals together. That's why you had them all together in a big White House. Like, yeah, you had a president, but everybody was together going, yeah, but we think this and we think that. Oh, good, let's play together. And then you realize, oh, you find out about like people donating money and bribing people and all these things and getting ideas out and agendas and all this shit. And I'm like, oh, it's all corrupt like everything else. And then you get older and you figure that shit out. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter who the president is, but if Twitter is going to, all I care about social media, that's what I stare at. So if social media is going to be annoying, I want it to be a new annoying. That's all I care about because the other part doesn't matter. No matter what rules they make, I'm poor the whole time. They keep saying healthcare is not good. I still keep paying nothing for my copay.
oh,
I'm
nice.
fine. I have the same health care as a fat black woman with 6 kids. I have that one. It's the best one. I'm super poor. It hasn't changed. Even though they're saying like Obamacare is gone, this is gone, that's gone. I'm doing great with health care. So that's fine. And if they tell me I don't have that, then I just stop going to the doctor and run even more. Whatever. I'm fine with it. As long as I get my blood pressure medication or at least stop or have to do this on podcast so I can yell once in a while, I'll be fine. But no one has anything I want because it's not about me. You're trying to run a whole country. There shouldn't be, I know Rogan has said it because he found it from someone else, but I heard on Rogan, there shouldn't be 10 genders in 2 political parties. Like, it's insane. There should be way more political parties. There should be more, and we shouldn't be a country anymore. And I hate to say it, New Jersey and California are so fucking different. They shouldn't be connected in the same place. Why should Wisconsin and Hawaii be governed by the same group of people? Those are not even close to the same goddamn thing. There should be, each place should almost be its own country in a way, like governed in its own way, its own style. And you vote, and if you want to live under one type of thing, if you believe in the views and values of a Mike Pence and he wants to run Indiana and he gets charged, you move to Indiana and then you're under the rain and living a life of like being afraid of gays and not sitting with your wife or whatever and having a fly on your head. That's fine. But if you like crazy outlandish shit, Trump runs New York, you go there and you live under this crazy shooting guns, firing thing. We should almost go back to that shit. It's not working. We're not united.
That's the debate that's been in existence since the founding of our country, man. Like literally, that's been the debate. Should we have the Federalists who wanted a strong central government like what we've got now, and the anti-Federalists who are like, nah, let the states call it.
Yeah.
Keep a federal government if we have to go to war and for like broad decisions, but everything else should be up to the states. And that's been the debate throughout history.
And watch, now people be like, Pat's a goddamn anti-federalist, and now I fucking hate him. It's like, I didn't. If I am, then I am. I'm an anti-federalist.
Most people agree with you. They're like, I live in Pennsylvania. Make decisions. Like, I want to choose on things that affect me in Pennsylvania. Like
now, Pennsylvania would be a weird place because it's so. Yeah, and so is New York, but it's so vast and different. Like, would the Amish be allowed to be the Amish, or would you cut that off and say they're their own place too? Like, how many lands do you have? I mean, almost like you would open it up more and say people that want to live that way of life being there, go there. But then I guess you'd have to, if you do that, you'd have to always stay under that bubble. Like, I guess you couldn't change because you're like, if you want to change, you just move. But then you'd have to have like a cap on how many people could be in your place. Because then people at first would want to go to New York or LA or somewhere to seem fun. But I'd be like, how about South Dakota? Because no one.
Nebraska.
Yeah, well, their rules are going to be all like just whatever. We're just happy you're here.
Yeah.
Just don't fuck your sister. Like, you know what? Wasn't gonna. Thanks. And then you're in, and you're fine.
I can play by those rules.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna do that anyway. Not fuck her. Any of them. I have 4. Not, you're all safe. But it's just and I don't know anything about politics, and I like that you know a little bit about it. But we can have the discussion. But at the end of the day, if you had a different opinion than me, I don't get the part where I'm yelling at you. It's about discussion, and that's gone now. It's teams. It's Yankees versus Red Sox, and it's fucking weird. And it's like Yankees versus Red
Bloods
Sox
versus Crips.
Yeah,
Like it's fist fight in the street.
right. But see, Bloods and Crips, at least when you're in the Bloods or Crips, you were raised that way. You ride or die that way. You're taught that way. The Yankees and Red Sox, a lot of times, it's like the Yankees and Red Sox when women who date people who like the Yankees and Red Sox but don't know about them argue with each other about their favorite team.
Yeah.
It's because they're uninformed and they're just yelling. Now, I'm not talking about women who like sport. I'm talking about
No.
I
Yeah.
even say men. There's men too who date a girl who was raised to be a Red Sox fan. He's like, well, I'm a Red Sox fan now, and I really like that Nomar. It's like he hasn't been on the team in 20 fucking years. It's like, it's like that. Like when you ask someone who their favorite wrestler is, they're like Stone Cold. It's like, go fuck yourself. He's been retired forever. But it's like that kind of stupid misinformation that we're seeing on Twitter where everyone's arguing and yelling things. What do you like? What's wrong with Trump? It's like, he grabs pussies. Like, that was so long ago. He grabbed pussies. Like, what else since then? Biden sniffs people. I say it all the time too because it's fucking hilarious. But like, I don't know anything about Biden. I don't know anything about Trump. I try to watch the debates and I get bored. I don't think everyone's built for this shit. It's not for everyone. To pretend like you know all this shit. I joke around about Kubia and his allegiance. Like, he's, the super fan. And he's got posters of Trump in his room and stuff. And that's fun. But at least him, DePaulo, they're fucking every day reading things, learning things. They're educating themselves. Now they're taking one biased opinion. They're horse blinders on, and they're not looking at both sides. And I think that's what we need to do more as a country is look at all sides and decide which one works for you, but also respect the ideas and thoughts and values of other people because we're supposed to be a whole fucking place. It's not the country of Pat or the country of Kumi or Bobby's Couchland. That's not where we're living. We're all living together. So look at everything and then talk to me about it instead of just yelling, you like Trump, well then you're gay. Like, I might like Trump and I might be gay, but what's that? I'm not. I don't either. I mean, I'm sure there's nice men out there, but like we said earlier, I couldn't fuck them. I'd have to be a lesbian. So I don't know what to vote for. I think I'm going to vote for Biden today, and then someone might hear this and go, I can't believe it. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm not going to vote for anybody. I can't believe you're not going to vote. Well, maybe I'll vote for Trump. I can't believe you're going to do. Why am I talking to you about my vote? I was raised, you didn't have to tell anyone your vote. Why are we talking about it?
Yeah. And
it's rude.
Keep your opinions to yourself.
Yeah, opinions are like assholes. I hate them on Pornhub. That's a joke I tried when someone just yelled out, you're not a one-liner. I'm like, really? You're changing. I can't grow. I can't have one.
I can't throw a one-liner out there every once in a while.
And that was only one. And believe me, if that's most one-liner comics, as you know, you are one, wouldn't want that joke. That's a one-liner that fits me.
Yeah. That's a transition, dude.
That's my brand. Yeah, I'm transitioning into a one-liner comedian. I identify as a Stephen Wright, even though I'm built like a Kyle Kinane. I was on Who Are These Podcasts yesterday. It came out. So we record this today. This will be on Tuesday, but it came out on Sunday. And that's a show. You want to talk about people's opinions changing. They attacked the first time they heard of me. They destroyed my podcast. They put me down. They said I was, I ramble, I contradict myself, and this and that. And I listened to it, and did it hurt? Of course it hurt. But did I actually sat there they got some valid points. And I did start having guests on again. And I did start working on the podcast. And I did start making it better. And then to the point where I went on my podcast and talked about, hey, go listen to it. Go check it out. I didn't shit on them or yell at them. That's what they do. Their job is they shit on other podcasts. The poor guy, Carl, he has a show that people love, but only has 3 stars on Apple Podcasts because everyone that he shits on goes there and gives him a 1. So they can't move up. But when I was on there, this is about my second time being on the show as on the good side now, not being attacked. It's nice to be on there. Now people are like, oh, we like Pat now. But you fucking wanted to like lynch and kill me before. People change. Opinions change. It depends what side you're on. Right now, I like them. If they attack me again, then I'll be like, boo-hoo, this stinks. You just got to change what you do. And also, he gave a shout out to Kumia again because he can't stop. Whenever Kumia says something nice about him, he gets very excited.
We all do.
But have you ever listened to that show?
No, I haven't.
He actually, I'm going to tell you now, you as a person that's on the technical side of things, does a fantastic job. Like I mean, it's a good format anyway. It's funny, it's fun. But
Oh
like
yeah, it seems like a great show. I just haven't come
right.
across it.
And as we're doing it live, he's got every button in the world. Right. I'm actually one of the buttons from my first show when they shit on me. I said, your podcast stinks. Your podcast stinks. When I was yelling about podcasts, he took that clip and they play that all the time. So when I come on, they also play it for me. So I'm one of the buttons. But
That's
like
awesome.
they were making fun of some local radio or some like syndicated radio show, and they do these like phony breaks. Like after the break, find out who could have been Marty McFly, and then they come back and they're like Ben Stiller, and they talk about something else. It's like what the fuck was that? So Carl's pitches that to us. We make fun of that, whatever, and he goes, hey guys, we'll be back right after the break. I'm like, what? And all of a sudden he has a button and he made up a fake break making fun of that break, which he had ready to go throughout the show like 6 times. Like the professionalism, the amount of work that guy puts in is
That's
crazy.
awesome.
So it's fun to be on, and you're like, I'm happy I'm on his side now.
Yeah, I want to be on the good
He's
side.
that bully whose dad has a lot of money so he can afford to wear nice things and call you poor. It's like, God damn it, why can't you just be another poor person I can try to relate to? No,
Exactly.
I'm going to be trashing you forever because you have all the buttons, you asshole. Nah, dude. Fun. I got to be on that one. There's a fun one called the Shitty Song Podcast. I've never heard that one. That's fun. I've been on that one twice where I choose a genre, and then the two guys on the show, Red and Brandon, they choose another song from that genre. We did boy bands, and I took and it's gonna be coming out this week, so I don't want to spoil too much. But they took LFO Summer Girls, and I took NSYNC's Pop, and we break it down. What's the worst song? And like
That's fun.
It was a debate. Last time we did, they did a song from Europe, and I did Mr. Big's "To Be With You," and like it's like our debate. And we play the whole song, and we try to go through it. We break down each word of the goddamn thing and talk about how trash it is or whatever. I just love that. That's the thing I'm talking about. There's so many podcasts out there. There's so many people with talent that no one knows who they are. That there's probably someone out there who could run this country that we have no idea who the fuck they are at all.
Absolutely.
And they're not allowed to be out there because they don't have the right commercials behind them or they're not on a network. You know,
Or they're like horribly disfigured.
yeah, that's the best kind. Horribly. I've never met like beautifully disfigured. Like I've got this one weird growth. What is it? It's 2 huge boobs. Like, oh my, that sounds awesome. That's beautifully disfigured. They're on my forehead. Even better. I don't look at your face.
Yeah, I can make eye contact now.
Now, well, you can't because the tits are over their eyes. You know what I'm saying? You got to push their tits up and go, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Excuse me, my eyes are here.
Hello. I'm right here. How have you enjoyed being on POS so far?
POS is great. I really look forward to it every week. It's cool to come on and have something that I can feel like I'm a consistent part of and contribute to every week. And honestly, it's helped me grow as being able to be on the mic and things like that. I know when to jump in a little better now and when to jump out. I still talk all over you, but I'm getting a little better at that.
We're all getting better. It's a lot. It's 3 moving parts plus the guest. It's gonna happen, but if you listen to it, we really don't do it much because Frank kind of knows his role. He just waits for me to go ever, and Frank is just gonna yell out things that if he was 40, he'd be canceled. But I appreciate you being on there. When I was thinking about like trying to go the next step, once Compound was like, they still have never said no. You know, so I've never been told you're gone. It's just there's no new shows are coming in right now. And I understand that. But at the same time, I love that format. I love doing the show. And when I would talk about the show to certain people that were at Compound or whatever, so you were one of the people that really liked the idea of it, what it was. And I'm like, we both have a sense of humor we both appreciate, but it's also different opinions. We're kind of similar, but we're also different.
Enough that it's not just two guys. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. And also, you are one of the few people that I've met from there that knows you can bust my balls and I can take it. Like, I don't like when I'm on a podcast where someone's like, yeah, Pat, I agree. It's like, no. I like when you're like, no, Pat, you're the piece of shit. And here's why. I'm like, yeah, yes, I am the piece of shit. Thank you. And it's fun that way. And people have even told me they really like when you're on there. It's helped a lot. Awesome. And it makes it easier for me to have guests on because before I felt like I had to have guests that people knew or like stature names. But now knowing that even if the guest is newer or someone they don't know, like friends, like the last couple of shows I've had are local Connecticut comic friends of mine who've done a great job, but we don't need them to carry anything because if they fail, I know you and I will get it through.
Well, that's thank you. That's
Yeah.
a
So thanks for not
great
sucking. It's
compliment.
appreciated. And
And
yes, I
it
should have hired
definitely
a black
fits the
woman, but
unique.
no, I didn't.
It definitely fits the unique thing. That's what I really like. Like, there's a set topic, but there's enough free room that you can still be yourself and be funny with it. And it fits the brand of unique podcast, and I definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's the thing I tried to when I did the show the first time for the pilot, I wanted to make sure it was structured. But I knew down the road if we did do it every week there, I was gonna allow, banter to happen and things like that. So that's why I want it to be loose, because if it ever does happen, we're gonna go right in there. The only thing weird will be being in the same room.
Yeah,
And
we
we'll
won't
get
be
over
used
that
to
every week.
it.
But even that will be fine because I already set it up that Frank would be on the couch and away from us anyway. And
Yeah, I
whenever
don't have to deal with him.
No, you'd be there with me, and then one other guest we'd have on. And we could even do the show. We did it without guests, and it'd be fine. But I appreciate that you also know that you can go somewhere else with it. Like if I bring up a topic and you're like, "Well, wait, real quick, I want to say that." Like, go. I'm not gonna care. Like I like that. That's more because we'll get back to that's why I want the show. The structure allows us to go off because we can come back to the thing.
Absolutely. And you always have that to jump back to.
Right, because thank God I have notes. I've got them or in my phone just reading them. But that's the fun thing too. Lately, I've been getting stories. People will give me stories, and I'm like not even reading them all the way through. I'm like, I'd rather just learn about them on the air with you. That's why sometimes I'm like, oh wait, that lady killed her husband so she could marry her dad. Oh, what the fuck? And I'm also and I try to stay away from the thing everyone's talking about because everyone's doing the political. And we could do it once in a while when it makes sense, but I'd rather talk about stupid shit like Barney getting a live action show or shit
And
like
that
that.
stuff's evergreen then.
Right.
Like, you don't have to be in the political atmosphere to get the nuances of the jokes. Barney being a live adaptation is always going to be Barney being a live adaptation.
Right. And
And I'm
also,
for it.
I'm also thinking that, like E-Rock had said one time, like down the road, they might even just take these and throw them on demand if they felt like putting it on there. I want you to be able to go back and go, oh, I had this. I had to be there at this time to get this thing. It's like Hunter Biden's cock. That's why I'm not talking about it. But you'll always know Charlie Brown wasn't on fucking ABC this year. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
certain things I can say where you're like, holy shit, I know that thing. So I'm trying to keep it generic to the timeline, but also, fun and interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah, and if Frank dies, I've decided after the last couple of weeks, Dan Brown is going to be Frank.
Awesome.
I think that's a
That's a
good
great
fill-in.
Yeah, I like Dan a lot.
Yeah, and because I knew you'd like him. And my brother's a fan. He doesn't. My brother even said about this week's episode. He's like, once again, Dan talked for 5 or 6 minutes, but he goes, he called Bobby something from the Royal Tannenbaums. He has the craziest line, and he's a guy that usually is like kind of shy to be himself, but he knows I have confidence in him, and when he does it, he's fucking brilliant. And that's the people I want to have on him, Howie, Frankie, people like that. So it will be good to see E-Rock go on there and have opinions, but will I make sure that there's a couple things that he will kill at? Like, if a movie's coming out and there's a reboot, yeah, I'll have him on because he's a movie dork.
Yeah,
Why
he's the
wouldn't I do
man.
that? He loves that shit. Whenever I have him on, I talk about movies. We don't have to just talk about that. I'm like, don't tell me how to run my show. But at the same time, please tell me how to run my show because you know how to run all the shows.
You're pretty good at it, yeah.
You've been doing it forever, like forever. He should be 90. If you think about how long he's been doing this, I think I'm older than him.
That's one of the coolest things working at Compound is you just have that veritable wealth of information. And there have been a couple of times he's pulled me aside and given me just like real simple but real smart advice.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're going to be on Pat Oates' podcast. You should watch the 3 before this one, just so you know what you're getting into. And that's like a stupid step that people don't take. Just full of that kind of information and a nice guy. Always looking.
When the quarantine first started, and he had a little free time because before it got all crazy and he was stuck at home, he hit me up and said, hey, I'm going to give you a bunch of unsolicited advice. I'm going to help you out. I'll be like your manager, if you will, for this, and I'm going to help you through it. First thing is, you kind of remind me of Marin meets this, meets that, meets that. Listen to all of them. Listen to how they attack things. Make sure you're not too much like them, but also learn from them. And just a bunch of little things like slow down, take notes, have more notes than you need. Have a list of 20 questions when you know you're only going to need 10. Because if the guest gives you nothing, you're not stuck. You know what I mean? It's good to have leftover notes, and that's why I've seen that when I'm on Kumia. He has all those notes, and I think I've told this before to you, but like when I first started going on the show, I talked to Mike Fanoia, who I'm friendly with, And he was on the show once, and he goes, yeah, I found out the key is if you see him going to the notes, you're not doing a good job. Because if he's not going to the notes, it means he's enjoying chatting with you. Now, I asked him about that, Kubi, one time, and he said, no, sometimes there's things I want to get to. But, yeah, if I don't have to go to the notes, it means that we're staying in that subject well. And he said, and I know him and I have had that thing back and forth. And we've rolled on one thing for a while, but you do have to move on. But it's good to have those extra things because I've been fucked. Since E-Rock told me that, I've had 2 or 3 people on that gave me nothing. And I was like, I was almost out of questions by 20 minutes in, but thank God I had a couple extra written down so I could keep going or do something. But yeah, he's just been very helpful in that way, and he doesn't need to be. For people who say they don't like him, you're not liking him because you've been trained on the radio to make fun of him. But you don't understand that without him, there is no Compound Media, like nothing. I mean, it's so funny when I watch people, and I'm not shitting anybody, but I know some comics who want to, like, all of a sudden, like, I want to be on Compound, so I'm just going to tweet at Compound Boss. He's not the one you should be tweeting. First of all, don't tweet at anybody asking for shit. Put together a great show, work on it for a long fucking period of time, not 2 weeks. Then maybe through an email like a professional, so try to submit something and then wait and stop and see if he responds. And if they do, great. But to tweet at them, pick me up because last week I had a bunch of listens. You had one show. Work on what you do. I didn't get picked up yet. I continue to work on the show for a year. Keep trying to put it out there. Keep my conversations going. Keep trying to get better so when I do go on, I'm ready. And if not, if someone else wants to take it, great. But if not either one, then I do it myself. But either way, just keep working. Don't just beg for shit and hope that one window is what it is. And don't ask the guy who's in charge. You don't ask Jimmy Fallon to be on Jimmy Fallon. He's not booking it.
No.
He's the host.
Yeah, he doesn't even know until that night. He's like, oh, cool. I'm hanging out with Justin Timberlake today.
He doesn't even know. He just reads the card and goes, Justin, is it Timberlake? Is that what
Like,
it is?
he's your best friend. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Our dicks were in boxes. I was trying to think of a woman's name to make a joke out of it. They couldn't think of a woman they both would have fucked. I don't know Fallon's fuck game. I don't know anything about it. But Bobby, thank you so much for spending your lovely Sunday with me after an exhausting weekend of making Dave Landau work hard, I'm sure. I'm sure he's rethought out comedy. Like, I can't follow that guy. And if that's the case, please, Dave, next time bring me because you can follow me because I'm terrible. So
No, I think it was more like I've never had to dig out of a hole like that.
And that's the other thing about there's certain guys I've watched, and this is me. You know me. I'm a fan of your comedy. I think you deserve those chances. You know that. But just saying, in example wise, there are certain comics like Tim Dillon. Both times he's come to comics, when I've happened to be there on a Thursday, got to watch. He's brought this comic. I don't remember his name, and I don't mean to be a dick, but so unfunny to the point where the club is like, this guy is fucking terrible. But it doesn't matter because even though the people in the crowd are like, oh my god, this 20 minutes feels like 6 hours. The second Tim Dillon steps on stage, you forget everything else. And Landau is that. Dave is so good, he can give people opportunities. So someone like you, if you struggled, you struggled. But if you do great, it's just icing because the crowd's going to walk away going, what a great night. Dave was amazing. And then now they're going to go, what a great night. Dave was amazing. And this guy, Bobby, wow, I didn't expect that at all. That was fucking great too. And that's the great feeling of a feature. You know what I mean? You're not even thought of because they know there's a host. They know there's a headliner, but they don't even think about the middle guy. And in the middle guy is the most beautiful place in the world. You just shine. You know what I mean? You're just a place where everyone goes, wow, you should have headlined. It's like, no. But someone will say that to you because you did half the amount of time that Dave did. And so you got to do all the material you wanted to do. And the crowd didn't have any expectations. You know what I mean? You're the woman that you thought had no teeth, and then you looked and you went, oh, she has teeth. She just had broccoli on one. Like, ooh, now it's better. It's like, it's still gross, but like at least she has her teeth now. I don't think that was a good analogy. But anyway, it's the best I had. Bobby, you're like a woman with no teeth.
Thank you.
But then has teeth. So
Even better.
But I'm happy you did that. People, if you love this banter, you should listen to POS every week. Just subscribe to the podcast channel, Pato's channel. This week we'll have E-Rock on. And Bobby, if you ever think of anybody you want to have on, just tell me. We'll have anyone on you want to have on too. So
sounds good, man.
If you want to have your doorman from your hotel, you can yell at him. You can have anyone on. Just no women. No, I'm kidding. I've already been told that. Have more women. I'm like, we do it like Wednesday late at night or whatever. It's just like, I get who's available. Anyone wants to be on. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
But just also, it's not like an interview. It's literally you're being forced to play a game show with no prize.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird. You got anywhere they can follow you?
Yeah, just Bobby_Tamburro on Twitter. Hit me up
And
there.
watch Eastside Dave on Compound
Every Tuesday
Media.
at 7:30. I didn't get there yet.
I know,
was
but I
coming.
like doing that for you now.
This
That's
comes
who I
out.
want on. Do you think he'd ever come on?
We could reach out.
Does he do anything? Does he ever do appearances on anything? I've never seen him be a guest.
Not often.
I know.
He likes to kind of stay in his own universe.
Yeah, but he can't. I would allow his I would tell him I'd bring up topics from his universe.
I'll bring it up to him. I'll
Daniel
see what I can do.
Bryan. I'll bring up whatever he wants. Or Roy would be fun.
Roy's a great get too. If you do it, you're probably going to have to get both of them.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
have the two of them on.
They would love that.
That'd be fun down the road to have the two of them. And Frank trying to do their fucking. Oh, by the way, Frank said he goes, "Who's the guest this week? I want to do research and do a good
I
announcement."
saw that. Yeah.
So I gave it to him, and he's just like, "I know he's not gonna do anything good. He's gonna overthink this one.
For sure.
He shouldn't have this many.
That's going to be
days.
funny.
Yeah, it should be bad. But Bobby, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
No
See you
problem.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.